Hey guys, I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel.
We're two lifelong friends and musicians, but when we're not playing gigs, we like to talk games.
And today, on the Gaming Gig Podcast, we're going over the current state of gaming's big three for Dale. You're going to have to kind of be my herald through some of this conversation, and I don't mean like my herald, like your name is Harold. I mean you have to herald me through the topic.
Well, no, in fact, my name is Harold. Randy's a nickname.
Yeah. Because all I've done all week is play The Witcher.
And you haven't paid attention to the news at all?
Nope.
Well,
I mean, I've heard some things.
Yeah.
I'm not completely ignorant.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that.
Ouch.
Yeah. Ouch. Well, each of the big three in gaming made the news in a pretty big way this week. And I think it's really interesting because it kind of gives us a look at where things are currently standing for each of those companies. And by the way, the big three is Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. If you didn't know, you probably knew. But in case you didn't know.
Yeah, I think they knew.
They probably. I mean, just in case, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
And, and Steam Deck.
And Steam.
That's the big three.
Yeah.
Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam Deck. That's the big three.
Steam Deck, the console, is one of the big three.
Oh, man. People get fired up if you call it a console, Randy. Even though
it's a handheld console.
I know.
What do you mean? Why do people get fired up?
They don't get fired up. But the whole, is it a PC versus is it a console thing is like a stupid thing that people perpetuate on the internet.
It's a handheld console. I mean, it's pretty...
That plays PC games. Right. I mean, it is a PC, but, you can make the argument that anything is a computer.
Right, it's a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Well, glad we solved that.
Back to the main topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, each of the big three made the news in a big way. And so we'll kind of go over it and kind of see where they're at the beginning of the year. Because some things are good, some things are bad. You know when people say, do you want me to give you... I got good news and bad news. Do you want me to give you the good news first or the bad news first? What do you pick normally?
I want the bad news first.
Me too.
And
always.
then I want more bad news. Because that's all they ever have.
No, this is bad and good. But I'm the same way. I like the bad news first. So that's what we're going to start with.
Rip off the Band-Aid and then pat it a little bit.
Because for two of the companies, it was good news. And then for one of the companies, it was bad news.
So we could do a good news sandwich.
No, we're doing bad news first.
Okay.
Let's get it over with.
All right.
Like you said, rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go bad news first.
Okay.
And it's Xbox. Okay. We all know that Xbox had a rough 2022, and starting off 2023 is not great right now because it was just announced this week that Microsoft is laying off 10,000 employees.
Dang.
Now, this is Microsoft in general, but a sizable portion of those were in the gaming division, specifically from Xbox, Bethesda, and 343. Okay, layoffs across all of those.
I did hear about 343.
Yeah, 343 was definitely a big one because the additional news with 343 is that Microsoft has basically pulled 343 from being an active developer on Halo.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Big news, yeah. So, 343 has taken a couple swings with Halo, and none of them have really worked out yet.
No.
None of them have been a big hit.
No, I mean, I think Infinite plays good, and it's fun and it feels good, but yeah, it definitely didn't land, and they didn't even deliver all their promises. I mean...
Yeah, we never got the multiplayer, which is the whole... I wasn't going to play
the split screen.
Yeah, split screen multiplayer. I was never going to play it until that happened because I was going to play it with Catherine because we played some of the early Halo games and enjoyed them somewhat. So if we were going to play Infinite, it was only because there was a co-op split screen mode, and it never came.
Right,
so.
And they promised when they put their last Halo game out, I don't remember what it was called. They were like, we ain't going to release another Halo game without split screen. Don't worry.
Well,
and then they were like, well, we're going to launch it without it, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And here we are.
So, yeah, I mean, 343 has apparently lost a third of their workforce, and they're, like I said, being pulled off of active development with Halo. Apparently, they're still going to be involved in some way in terms of, managing, maybe the lore or the story, but they're really not going to be developing the game. And so, the free-to-play version of it is already completely out of their hands. Other people are working on it. There's a Battle Royale in development that's not in development with them at all.
That could be fun.
Yeah, I mean, but 343 is basically Halo is being pulled from them, essentially. I thought it was interesting that Bethesda is losing employees. that layoffs are happening in Bethesda.
Well, I guess when you don't put out games.
Well, true.
If you pull all their workers, they ain't never going to put out a game. So I don't know. That is weird.
It's a little strange. I mean, but the reason this kind of looks really bad is because, we're about 1 year out exactly from the announcement that Microsoft was buying Activision for like this incredible amount of money.
Yeah.
And now a year later, they're laying off 10,000 employees, and it just kind of looks bad. Like the optics are bad.
Yeah.
Because like you're spending all this money to acquire Activision, but you can't even keep afloat,
Mm-hmm. And that deal is still like potentially being roadblocked.
Right.
So, I mean, it hasn't even gone through yet. So,
Right. It just looks bad.
That's a bad look, Phil.
So
It's not just Phil, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess it goes all the way to Bill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not. This is Microsoft in general.
Yeah.
But it really has affected the gaming, kind of sector of their company.
Right.
And well, at least that's what we're interested in. We are a gaming podcast, after all.
Really?
Well, I mean, some may argue that we're not, but I would argue that we at least are gaming adjacent.
Yeah. Gaming adjacent for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what we should have named it. Gaming adjacent.
So, like, I think the main thing that people have been, kind of peeved at Microsoft about is the fact that they just haven't put out that many compelling first-party games.
Yeah. Yeah, they just stopped putting out games.
Well, they're putting a lot of their effort into Game Pass,
Yes.
which I think is a good service.
It is a good service. But you know what the coolest thing about that service is? The big first-party releases most of the time go to it.
Oh, well, they definitely do. Yeah,
Yeah.
they like certainly go to it day one, which is really interesting. They're the only company doing that.
Mm-hmm. And that's such a great selling point, but not if you don't put out first-party releases.
Right. So, but the question is can Xbox recover from this? I know everyone's saying 2023 is going to be the year of Xbox.
I think it can. Yeah. Xbox is pretty damn big.
I think it just, here's my thought. I'm like, yeah, if Starfield ends up being good, yeah,
okay.
what if Starfield isn't good?
Which is definitely on the table.
I know. So like, what if
Then
Starfield
Redfall
comes
better be amazing.
and I don't think the hype for Redfall is even all that much.
And it's not here. It's not in this room. I can
So
tell you
it's
that.
like, if Redfall doesn't, like, even if it's good, if it doesn't have that much hype behind it, that's kind of not going to matter. It's got to make a huge splash, and
yeah.
I don't think it's going to.
Starfield is definitely the one, the big one.
Yeah, and if Starfield's not great, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, like, there's a chance that Xbox doesn't recover from this year. I mean, doesn't recover this year.
You're talking like the freaking Tiger King, like he'll never financially recover from this.
No, well, I mean, like, it just seems like they're in a bad place. And I love Xbox. I really like some of the Xbox games, and I really like the console a lot. And it's like,
You're like addicted to Quick Resume.
oh my God, yeah. So I think I really want them to do well, but it just kind of sucks that they're not doing so well.
Yeah. No. Sidebar: do you think Starfield will be great?
No, I mean, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if it is great, but I would also certainly not be surprised if it's bad.
If it comes out and it's like just a good game, everybody likes it, and it's like not broken in some crazy ways, and they don't have to rush patches, I will be shocked. Honestly.
Yeah.
When's the last time Bethesda did that?
Yeah, I mean, never.
I don't know if they've ever done that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's almost like if you look at their history, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be great.
But also, if you look at their history, it has potential to eventually become amazing.
Yeah.
So
you gotta. Yeah, true. I mean, it's not like Bethesda doesn't put out some games that I really think were good from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. I think about like the Doom stuff. I really like that.
Yeah, Doom is cool.
And I mean, like, what was it? I think it wasn't developed by Bethesda, but it was published by Bethesda. Deathloop. Wasn't that published by Bethesda?
Really?
I think so. Wasn't it?
Maybe.
I don't know. Look it up. I don't want to, speak without being correct. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, but I feel like it's published by Bethesda.
Yeah, it is.
Is it Arcane?
It's developed by Arcane.
Yeah, Arcane, yeah. So, I mean, like, Bethesda does put out some good games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, if you asked me, like, what are my favorite games, they would have all been Bethesda games.
Right.
So, I still have love for the company. I just don't trust them.
Yeah, I don't either. Now, moving past the negative here, it kind of sucks that we started off negative.
We did kind of start negative.
But PlayStation and Nintendo, there was some good news. So yeah. PlayStation, here's the thing that happened this week. PlayStation put out a video that was a kind of like, I guess it was like upcoming 2023 PlayStation games. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I was immediately struck by is that, one, there was a lot of games in this like teaser trailer thing.
Okay.
Specifically 23 games. But even more important to that, was the fact that only 8 of them were cross-platform. The vast majority of them were PS5 only games.
And it's PS5 only.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of those things that you could either like or not like depending on what you want. Like if you don't have a PS5, you're probably not very happy about that.
Yeah.
But if you do have a PS5, I think all of us who have PS5s are ready for like the PS5 to be fully embraced.
Mm-hmm. And I totally get it. Like you don't have PS5, you don't want us to move on from the PS4 yet. I get that. I feel you. But now they're available. I know that everybody ain't made of money. So like I know you can't always just rush out and buy one. But if you're a gamer and it's something that's important to you, you're probably making plans to try to get to a next gen console by this point.
Right.
Current gen. Sorry.
Current gen, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, let's do it.
Yeah, we're like we're over 2 years in, and there's always a little bit of cross-gen stuff that go on, but it just feels like there's been more than usual this generation.
It sure does,
and a lot of that's because of the shortages and things, and also the install base on the PS4 is just so huge it doesn't make sense to completely leave that behind.
Yeah,
so it just feels like there's been tons of cross-gen, and I know I'm excited that the PS5 feels like it is going to finally be fully embraced. Like some of these big games that I'm super excited about are going to be PS5 only, which is awesome. Like the new Spider-Man game's going to be PS5 only, and I think
I really want to play the last 2 before that comes out. I want to be on the train.
Didn't you play Spider-Man?
Yeah, but I never finished it.
Oh. Well.
So I want to finish it, and then I want to play Miles Morales and be ready for the
Miles Morales is short.
Yeah.
You'll get through it pretty quick. I mean, it's like, I say it's short. It's like 15 hours-ish. And whereas the original Spider-Man is probably more like a 40, 50. Well, I did a lot. And maybe it's not 40, 50 hours, but it was for me.
And Miles Morales is also Steam Deck verified.
Oh.
So is Spider-Man Remastered, but I already own it on PlayStation, so I'm not going to buy it again. But
yeah. So like there are some games that I'm super excited about that are going to be PS5 only. Another thing that was announced this week was that the PSVR 2 launch lineup was fully revealed. And they say that it could change, like some more games may be added, and I guess some may be taken away. I don't know. But right now it stands at 37 games for PSVR 2, which is more than I expected, honestly.
That's respectable.
I think for a launch lineup, 37 games is not bad.
Yeah, and I actually saw one of these games that I wanted to talk to you about. I'm sure you're aware of it. This Horizon game.
Yeah.
This Horizon VR game.
Called
like,
Mountain.
That looks awesome.
Yeah.
It also looks like it would make me puke everywhere.
That's like day one for me. I'm playing.
Yeah.
When my PSVR 2 comes in, I'm playing Call of the Mountain.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It's billed as a climbing and archery game. And the archery part sounds great. The climbing part makes it like a complete non-option for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
unless the PSVR is like so sophisticated.
That like somehow it reduces motion sickness. I don't know.
I'll definitely try it at your house, but.
It has that like, what is called like foveated rendering, which is like it tracks your eyes and it like renders on the screen in detail the things that you're looking at and makes it more realistic. So maybe it will. I don't know. It's supposed to be awesome.
Yeah, it looks so cool. I was watching a Game Ranks video last night. They put out like an enormous countdown of like upcoming games.
Yeah.
And it was on it and I was like, that looks so awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited about that one. There's a couple games that I'm really excited to play on PSVR 2, and that is at the top of the list for sure.
PSVR 2 is coming out pretty soon, ain't it?
Yeah, it's coming out in February.
Wow. And you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready. Have
you wrote them the check yet?
They haven't charged me yet. I mean, I've got my pre-order in, but they don't charge it until they ship it to you.
Gotcha.
So I'll be writing that check soon, I suppose. Or they'll charge my account.
Yeah, I know. It was an expression.
So, also another big thing from PlayStation, we already touched on this a little bit, is the fact that PS5s are in stock pretty much everywhere right now.
Yeah, that's so cool. I was at our local Walmart talking to a friend that works there, and he was like, yeah, man, we finally got PlayStations. They're just back there. You can go pick them up right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten emails from GameStop, from Gamefly, all saying, we have PS5s in stock. Order away, to your heart's content. So that's cool.
That is great.
It makes me wonder, like, is demand down, or is it just that supply is up, or is it both?
At this point in the console life cycle, it's probably a little of both.
I mean, we're after the holidays now, which means, so demand is definitely going down.
But I think they're also catching up a little bit.
Yeah. No, we didn't mention it earlier for Xbox, but it seems like there are Xboxes in stock as well. It seems like recently I've been seeing way more stuff about PlayStations being in stock, but about a month ago, it was all about Xboxes being in stock. So,
And I'll tell you, man, this the whole like scalping of it all got so prevalent that like I'm a teacher. I see kids all the time. We talk about video games, right?
Yeah.
A kid, I mean, more than once, kids have come up to me and been like, "Do you have a PlayStation 5?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I do." And they'll go, "Those are like $700."
Or like $1,000. They'll think,
they'll go,
they'll quote scalper prices like that's just the price it is.
And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Not if you do it right.
Yep.
And they just like don't even understand. Like they think that's just the way it is now.
It's ridiculous.
It's so sad.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I've had the exact same thing happen.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's crazy that people think like scalper prices are just the price you pay. But no, it's because that's the only place they've ever seen them available.
Right. You go online and you search PlayStation 5 and it'd be like $999.99.
Right.
Shipped to your door.
Yeah. And it's like, even like on Walmart, you'll have third-party sellers, scalpers selling
That's
them. Yeah.
so dumb. Why would Walmart should not allow that?
Well, Walmart is
website.
kind of like Amazon in that way. And then Amazon does the same thing where they allow third-party sellers to sell through their platform and they can choose their own prices. So, I mean, if you go on Walmart and Amazon, you look at these consoles and they're that price, of course kids are going to think, man, that's expensive.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense for Amazon because I know what Amazon is. But when I think of Walmart, I just don't think of that.
Well, Walmart's wanting to compete with Amazon hard. So they do that stuff. Same thing for eBay. I mean, like, eBay, Walmart, Amazon, all of those are just platforms for sellers. So
yeah, well, they need to quit.
Yeah. So
maybe they are quitting.
Speaking of production of games, it kind of moves us on to Nintendo.
Excellent segue.
And Nintendo's big news this week is that they plan in this upcoming fiscal year to increase Switch production. Like they forecast that this past year that by the end of March they say they are going to sell 19 million Switches that they plan. 19 million by the end of March from this year. But they're saying that next year they expect to sell more than 19 million.
Is demand that high still?
Well, so apparently demand is high. Well, the Switch for like a very brief time, sometime before the holidays, was like finally outsold. Like the PS5 sold more than it.
Yeah.
But then the Switch took back over in the holidays and obliterated the PS5.
Yeah.
Sold tons over the holidays. Okay. So for whatever reason now, Nintendo thinks that this upcoming year is going to be even more sales. And what's crazy is if it actually happens, it'll be the first time in gaming history that a console has gone up in sales late in its life.
I would love to see the data that they're looking at to make this prediction.
Well, that's the thing. Okay. So first of all, we got to say, like, why are they making this prediction?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So there's the one thing that I keep hearing people talk about is they say, like, okay, the Mario movie.
Okay.
Okay. And they're thinking that the Mario movie is going to be so big that it's going to push people to want to get back into Nintendo. Mm-hmm. And they think the Mario movie might bring sales. Now, that might be true.
That might be true. Yes.
That's just one part of the equation.
It ain't going to hurt them.
On top of that, there's been rumors for a while now that coinciding with the Mario movie, that Nintendo is going to release a new 2D Mario game.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I'd certainly buy that.
Right. And so the idea is when you have the 1-2 punch of the Mario movie, this new Mario game, it might drive a whole lot of people to the Switch.
And they're going to release DLC to replace all of Mario's sounds with Chris Pratt's voice.
Yeah, that'll be it. It'll definitely be all Chris Pratt audio on Mario's voice.
That would be so sacrilegious.
That would be hilarious.
Oh, man.
What if we get a Mario movie game?
A Mario movie game?
Yeah, like a game that's based on the Mario movie. What if that happens? I haven't heard anybody
They'd have to make
that.
it 3D. It'd have to be like a 3D game.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's a 2D game with Chris Pratt's voice.
Oh, my goodness. I would be so conflicted. I would just be all mixed up inside because I like Chris Pratt, but I also think it's weird he's Mario. And I love 3D Mario, and Odyssey is one of the greatest games of all time, so I'd have to play the next one. But it was based off this movie. And I don't know, man. That mixes me up already. Anyway,
Yeah.
that is interesting that Nintendo thinks they're going to sell that many Switches.
I mean, they haven't released like their exact forecast.
Yeah.
But if they're forecasting 19 million for this past fiscal year and they're saying they expect more for the next, then we're thinking maybe 20, 21 million, maybe something like that.
So you could say that over the next 2 fiscal years, they think they're going to sell about 40 million more Switches.
Well, no, this upcoming fiscal year is about to end. It's going to end at the end of March. And then the next one will be from this upcoming like April to the next April. So
yeah, but
yeah. You're saying for this current and the next one? Yes.
So, okay, yes. I see what you're saying. Yeah. This fiscal year is where they say they're going to have sold 19 million.
Yeah, from like this upcoming April 1st to the end of March of next year. They're expecting to sell more than they did the past.
How many does a Switch need to sell to be the best-selling console?
I think that if they do that, it will become the number one.
Wow.
If they accomplish their goals.
Wow. It only took a star-studded movie.
Yeah. So another thing, I mean, maybe the movie. I mean, we have a new Zelda game coming, which I mean, I think has potential to push some people to the Switch, but it's a sequel. So like, my thought is it can't push as many people as you might think because they would have had to play the first game. Mm-hmm. You would think.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, like people do jump on new games. Like it will sell some people on the Switch.
I'm sure people jumped into Majora's Mask without playing Ocarina of Time, and that's essentially what this is like Breath of the Wild's Majora's Mask, you know?
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't see that really pushing many systems because I think that at this point, the people who are into Zelda already have a Switch. Mm-hmm. Most
Probably
likely.
So.
But, we'll talk more about the new Zelda game here in a minute because that's up in our poll. But I guess that means that, the rumors for a new console revision of the Switch are pretty much dead now.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I heard through the grapevine that Nintendo is never going to release another console.
It's the Switch from now on.
Yeah, it's going to be the Switch, and it's projected right now that in 2041 we will get a Switch OLED Lite.
Yeah.
And by that point, Joy-Cons will still be drifting because Nintendo won't acknowledge it.
Do you see that finally a third party is making a Joy-Con for that use the magnetic?
GameCube? The Hall sensors.
Yeah, so not GameCube, but I'm talking about actual like Joy-Con replacement sticks.
Like a stick module that uses the Hall sensors?
Yeah, that you can install into your Joy-Con.
That's awesome. And that Nixie also made GameCube Joy-Con.
Yeah,
and they use Hall sensors too.
I saw that too, yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, I mean, like, you can fix your Joy-Con permanently, I guess.
Yeah, I want to use something with Hall sensors so bad. Everybody says they're so cool.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't.
Linus Tech Tip says that they feel, he said that they felt different, like, and that he loved them so much that now when he uses other joysticks, he's just like, this isn't Hall sensors. And he can like tell immediately. Like,
yeah.
Of course, he's like the biggest tech nerd ever, so I don't know. But I would love to just feel what they feel like. People are putting Hall sensors in their Steam Decks and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure with Steam Deck, it seems like it's pretty easy to take it apart and put those things in.
Yeah, they made the stick modules pretty replaceable.
Yeah, I mean, they need to. I mean, that's like, if you're going to have built-in sticks, you need to be able to replace them. Yeah,
but you lose your, my understanding is that unless you do a little soldering or something slightly more invasive, you lose your capacitive touch on the joysticks when you replace them.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully you won't have to replace them.
I mean, my joysticks are great right now. So
yeah. So going back to Nintendo, there's some people who are saying that like demand for the Switch, like could have been more, but they had these chip shortages and they weren't able to keep up with demand. Mm-hmm. So like maybe that's why they think there's gonna be more, is because there's no longer a chip shortage. In fact, some people are saying there's a like, what is it? What's the opposite of a shortage?
A surplus.
A surplus, right? There's like a chip surplus now. So like,
okay.
Yeah, we've gone from a chip shortage to a chip surplus.
Yeah.
So like they're saying that like anyone who wants a Switch is going to be able to get one. So that's why maybe sales are going up. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
That go into this.
And I still love the Switch, and I hope it does this, because I would love for the Switch to be the number one selling console of all time. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's time. It's time for a new one, Nintendo.
I mean, it's getting old. I mean, we're going into the 7th year.
Yeah.
So we're about to finish up at 6th year, 7th year. I mean, That's a pretty long life. I mean, like, I think
Yeah.
that the fact that the Switch was underpowered when it came out makes it feel older than it actually is.
It's lived a great life. One of the best lives of all time. Lives.
And it may be the number, you know, if they're able to do this, by the time we might be having this conversation next year and be saying, hey, you know, it's the best selling console of all time. It'd be cool to see, but I don't know.
That would be.
Do you think it's actually going to happen that the Switch is going to sell more this upcoming year than they did last year?
Probably. Switch does what Switch wants.
I mean, they always go off and, like, Nintendo always over forecasts. They always do that. Then they scale it back. But, like, I think last year they said, like, oh, we're going to sell 21 million. And then they said, oh, maybe a little more like 19, 18. I mean, they think, like, now it's going to be 19.
Yeah.
So
that's respectable.
It's not bad. So if they sell another 20 million, I think we're going to be at that number one spot. I think. I haven't checked the numbers. But so, all right. Now for predictions, Daniel. All about this. Which company, either out of the big three, which one do you think will, if you had to bet, which one's going to have the best 2023? At the end of the year, who are you saying, okay, this company knocked it out of the park this year?
Well, not Xbox.
You don't think it's going to be Xbox? You don't think there's any chance that Xbox ends up having everyone says this is going to be the year of Xbox.
There's always a puncher's chance, man. There's always a puncher's chance. And, you know, Xbox drops a couple fire games, like, sure, they'll kill it. But this ain't a strong start. And putting all your eggs in the Bethesda basket is a recipe for broke eggs. So I don't think it'll be Xbox. Not to poo-poo them. But anyway, I think it'll be PlayStation or Nintendo. I think now that people can buy PlayStations, I think people are going to slurp them things up.
Kind of like PS3, right? Where like later on in the PS3's life, it you know continued to sell really well because people started, the games were there and people got into it. You know?
And if they start saying like, hey, you know, we're releasing all these great games, but you have to play them on PS5, you can go to Walmart and buy that, by the way. People are going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
So I think it could be PlayStation, and I'm kind of rooting for them, honestly, because I wish Nintendo would make a new Switch. But
you want the competition to be there.
yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Nintendo is about to put out this Mario movie. And I don't know how that's going to go, but I don't expect it to be a flop.
I don't either.
They're going to put out Tears of the Kingdom, which I'll play on day one. And I don't even do that.
Oh, I'm there.
Yeah.
Totally there day one.
And I do love the Switch, and I think it still has a lot going for it, even though it is, you know, about 93 years old in console years.
It's definitely walking around with a cane or something, you know?
It's geriatric.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to say PlayStation. I just feel it in my gut.
You know, I think I agree, but I might look back on it. I mean, like if Tears of the Kingdom is as good as Breath of the Wild, I'm going to have a hard time at the end of the year saying that Nintendo wasn't my favorite of the year.
Agreed.
Like it's going to be really hard to do that.
You know, PlayStation is about to put out that PSVR. They're about to have the best VR headset.
Well, and I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
And I love VR gaming. So, I mean, like, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
I may get the PSVR 2 and be smitten and be like,
You will be.
probably.
You will be smitten. You won't even be in the real world for like weeks.
I will live in the virtual world. Even when I got my PSVR, I lived in VR for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Straight. I did not take that thing off.
No, it was really weird when when he would be driving and stuff. It was really awkward.
And I got into the PSVR late.
Yeah, you did.
Like, I wouldn't say too late. I got it. Let's see. PSVR came out in like 2017.
You got a PlayStation 4 late.
Well, I never got a PS4. I borrowed your PS4.
Oh, that's true. You never bought one.
Yeah.
You just eventually got a PS5.
When did Red Dead 2 come out? What year did Red Dead 2 release?
I don't know.
Because that was
But the internet does.
on day one for Red Dead 2. I borrowed your PS4 in advance so that day one I could play Red Dead 2.
Right. Because I had Frankie's, so
Yeah.
2018.
2018. So I didn't get into the PlayStation 4 until 2018. I think it was either the Black Friday of either 2018 or 2019 is when I bought I think it was 2018. I think it was November of 2018 is when I got a PSVR. So I got into it about a year or so after it released.
Yeah.
But it, well, I guess I wasn't even that late, but I wasn't on a day one is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I was like maybe a good year or two out from release. And yeah, I loved PSVR. And I'm super excited to be playing PSVR 2 at launch. But like I said, if Tears of the Kingdom is as good as Breath of the Wild, it's going to be tough for me to not say Nintendo had the best year. Mm-hmm. And speaking
now, will it matter? Will sales factor into that? Or are you just going to be like, it was an amazing game, they had the best year, it doesn't matter if they made any money?
Well, I mean, like,
I was kind of thinking, like, which company will have the best year, not maybe which one will be best for me.
Yeah, which one's going to steal your heart?
Yeah, that's not really what I was voting for, because my heart's already taken.
Yeah, well, you're right. But if it does as well as I think it will, if it's a great game, it's going to be tough. And if that new Mario game comes out, if we get a new Zelda and a new Mario, that's like 2017. We got a new Zelda and a new Mario. What a great year that was.
Yeah. That new Mario game's got a hit, though.
It's got a hit.
Odyssey straight smacked.
Yeah, it's got to. But it's been a while since we got a new Mario game.
I know.
It's been a while since we got a new Zelda game, so it's going to be a good year for Nintendo.
That's exciting.
So, poll. The poll was, will Tears of the Kingdom be as good as Breath of the Wild?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, at 49%, the gaming gig faithful said, I think so. At 10%, they said, I doubt it. At 13%, they said, I didn't play Breath of the Wild. And at 28%, they said, who knows?
I think who knows is probably the right answer. Because who does know?
Yeah.
But if I had to like pick one of the other choices, I think it will be as good as Breath of the Wild.
I don't.
You don't?
But I still think it could be amazing.
Like, the thing is, they're working with the same framework, Daniel. What could they do to mess it up to make it worse than Breath of the Wild?
I'm not rooting for them to mess it up. I'm not trying to put that into the universe. I'm just saying Breath of the Wild is one of the best games of all time. And I'm going to let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best albums of all time.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Breath of the Wild seriously is like one of the best games to ever release. So to say like the sequel is going to be even better is just so lofty.
No, that's not the question. It's will it be as good?
Okay, will it be as good as one of the best games of all time? It's still so lofty. Like, I'm just not comfortable enough to say that it will be. I hope it is.
Well, I mean, like, if they're doing if it's like the same framework, I could see the argument of like it's not going to be as novel because it'll be the second time around, so it won't hit the same.
It won't hit the same.
So I get that, but I think that if they take the same, if they even just release like if it all has the exact same mechanics with a new story, I still think it would be as good. It may not hit the same because it's like second go round, but.
I think if they released the exact same thing with same mechanics and everything, it wouldn't be as good because it would be the same, but it wouldn't hit as hard.
Well, I get that.
Yeah.
But if they take any bit of criticism that the game got, and if they can just improve it a little bit, because there was certainly criticism, if they can improve it, even though it won't hit as hard, maybe it'll be just as good.
Take out the weapon breaking.
I have a controversial opinion. I think the weapon breaking is good. I like it.
That's so weird for me that you think that. You're all about like quality of life improvements, and
I like that it makes you experiment with different weapons and it makes you be crafty. And I don't know, I just like it.
Well, I mean, that is cool. And I'll say that maybe we changed the weapon breaking system because I'm playing The Witcher, and weapons do break in that game, but they're still usable.
Degrade, right?
They just get way weaker. Like, you can still use it. So you never have to like get down to the point where you're trying to like slay a Leshen with a stick. Like you're never quite doing that. You're just doing it with a really weak silver sword. Maybe we do something like that.
Yeah, true. But I think that that's an option. But what's really cool to me about Breath of the Wild is that like, that when you played that game, you tried every single weapon in the entire game. You played them all. Yeah. You never just had that like one weapon and that was what you stuck with the entire time.
True.
You tried every single weapon in that game.
True.
Like even the Master Sword had its issues. That was like one reason that it was so valuable is that it didn't break, but it did eventually like need to cool down.
It would like lose its shine for a little while.
Yeah. So like you tried everything. And I think that in a way I liked it. I thought it was, it never bothered me that much because The game constantly throws weapons at you, and it's never like you're like, oh, I don't have a weapon. You always had a weapon at least.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
But
Maybe we just make them break. Make them harder to break.
Maybe that was
they
it.
broke
Maybe
a
that's
lot.
it.
Is all I'm saying. Like,
but I liked the system in The Witcher. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe once they break, you can take them and get them repaired and get your weapon back.
That'd be cool.
So I think
take him to a Goron, let him hit him with a hammer a few times.
Yeah, and get it back. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, or maybe Nintendo's clever. They'll come up with some way to make it better, or at least hopefully they do. But I suspect that I think it will be as good.
I hope it is.
You know, I'm surprised only 13% of the people who did the poll said that they haven't played Breath of the Wild. That's pretty good.
Oh, I mean, it's a pretty big game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it looks great. I mean, I want to play it really bad. Mm-hmm. I've been hurt a lot, and
yeah, you gotta let yourself be open to be hurt one more time.
Yeah, I will be hurt one more time.
You gotta put your guard down, man.
All right, so we're gonna jump into some comments here. So, Caleb says, "I doubt it. I think it'll be better." Ooh, whoa, the old switcheroo. Nintendo's taken plenty of time working on Tears of the Kingdom, and with criticisms they received from Breath of the Wild, I'm sure they'll make an even more engaging game with more to experience. And hopefully, we won't have to deal with limited climbing in the rain.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one. Climbing in the rain sucks.
That did suck, yeah.
Yeah, very inconvenient. The fact that you just can't do it.
Yeah.
It was like they teased you. It was kind of like thing like, oh, you can climb, but it's just worse. No, you just can't climb. It was like you'd get almost and just slide all the way down. Yeah. It was awful.
Make it climb worse, but still make progress.
Yeah.
And I'll accept that.
Like, yeah. I mean, the game's all about stamina and stuff, and but climbing in the rain doesn't really matter how much stamina you have. You're still going down. You can't do it.
You just can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he said limited climbing. Limited is it's limited in the most extreme version of the word limited.
Yes, limited in the sense that something you're limited from doing is impossible.
Right. So, hey, maybe it will be better. You never know.
You make the weapons a little tougher and let me climb in the rain.
Maybe
I am willing to be hurt.
So, Delusions of Grandeur said...
D1 Usions of Grandeur.
D1 Usions.
Usions.
Said,
D1 Usions of Grandeur.
D1 Usions of Grandeur. Said, hopefully better. I couldn't play Breath of the Wild that long because of the constantly breaking weapons annoyed the hell out of me. So, if anything, I'd like that mechanic to be gone. So, just kind of echoing what you said there.
Yeah. Yep. And then we've also got Fami Salami said, implying Breath of the Wild was good. And then they wrote XD, which is supposed to be, I believe, what the kids call an emoticon.
Oh, yes. I've never heard of one of those.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, like, implying Breath of the Wild was good. Some people didn't like it.
Who? Fami Salami?
Fami Salami.
What happened to you, Fami? Who hurt you?
Breath of the Wild hurt him.
Why?
That maybe they couldn't get out of the cave at the very beginning. Just couldn't figure out how to climb up. Got stuck.
Fami, that's so sad. You should have called us, man. Or, well, man, I don't know. You got a cat picture.
It's a cat.
Yeah.
This is a cat.
That's the problem. It's not built for cats. It says right on the back, it's like ages, so-and-so to so-and-so.
Not for cats. Not
cat years.
Yeah.
That's the freaking problem. Sorry,
it's hard
Fami.
to play Breath of the Wild with paws. I got no thumbs. So
he's like, Fami kept trying to get out of the tutorial area, and they're like, fluff this. This is fluff and stupid.
So I don't know.
All right. Well, you ready to move on to some games of the week there, Randall Abra?
Oh yeah, let's do it. So, games of the week. This is the section of the podcast where we talk about what games we've been playing this week.
Fact.
It's the most important part of the podcast because
continuity is important.
Continuity is important. So, games of the week. This week, I've been playing A Plague Tale: Innocence. I finished it this morning. Mm-hmm. So, very highly recommend that game. Loved it.
You're going straight into the new one, right?
Yes. I got it, and I'm going to start it today.
Oh, and I just realized this whole time when we've been talking about how graphically intensive that is on deck, I've been thinking about the new one, and you've been
Requiem?
playing. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean,
So just everything I said, just apply that to it's actually the new one.
Well, Innocence did get a next gen version, and that's the one I've been playing. So it's probably along the same lines in terms of it really isn't even that old. I think the Innocence came out in like 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the next gen version just came out recently, and so Plague Tale Innocence, I loved it. I'm excited to go into the next Plague Tale game and see how that one is. But I'm definitely not tired of it. Loved it, loved it, loved it.
Heck yeah.
And also, I've been working through Nier Replicant still, and I'm at the tail end of ending B.
Nice.
I still got a few more endings to go. I'm thinking about sticking out and seeing them all. Still enjoying the game, so why not?
Why not? No reason not to.
Yep. And then Catherine and I are still trucking through Lego Star Wars. Boy, we're on the last. We're on like episode 9, so we're almost done.
You just quit.
No,
There's
we can't
no reason
quit at
to.
this point.
That's the
we
worst.
Can't quit at this point.
Episode 9 is the biggest bastardization of what I love that has ever been made.
It's not for you, man. It's not for you.
It is. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. If it's not for me, who's it for? Look at me. Look at me.
It's not for you, man.
I got the Death Star on my desk, bro.
It's not for you. It's for those Gen Alpha kids.
Well, they shouldn't. They shouldn't.
They should.
They just shouldn't. Who's
They're-
Gen Alpha?
Gen Alpha, that's the ones before, the ones after Gen Z.
There's already a new one.
Yeah, Gen Alpha.
The kids being born now are not Gen Z.
The Gen Alpha.
Jesus.
It's for
All
them
right.
Gen Alphas that are growing up. They're gonna love them Star Wars movies. Rey is their queen.
Ray who? Have you seen the
I
meme?
think she's got like 17 last names. I don't know.
Have you seen the meme of in I think it was Infinity War when Spider-Man like follows Iron Man onto that ship and Doctor Strange is there and they meet Doctor Strange and he's like Doctor Strange and then Peter Parker's like, "Oh, I'm Peter." And then like somehow they like nudge him or something. He's like, "Oh, sorry, we're using our made-up names. I'm Spider-Man." And then there's a meme that it's like, "I'm Ray Skywalker." And then it's Tom Holland and he's like, "Oh, we're using our made-up names." And I just love that. That was a long time to get to that punchline, but I love that meme.
That's great.
And I hate those Star Wars movies. So,
Let's not go down this road though. Let's just continue. What games have you played this week, Daniel?
I have been playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for Dale, baby. And
Dale.
it is still so good. I just can't even tell you. I love it so much. I'm in Skellige now. And
There's snow on the ground.
there's snow on the ground. Yep. I went back to Novigrad too. And I helped some mages. So, can we talk spoilers for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for Dale?
It's been what? How
7
many
years.
7 years? Yeah, we're past spoiler territory.
Okay, well, I got all the mages out of Novigrad.
That's not even a spoiler. You can't. If you haven't played the game, you're not gonna be like, the mages get out of Novigrad. What?
Well, I just try to be respectful because it's like such a good game. I don't want to.
That's not even a big plot point. I mean, like,
Well-
that only makes sense if you played the game. Like, no one's gonna be like, oh my god, I'm never gonna be able to forget that Daniel got all the mages out of Novigrad.
Listen, I'm just trying to be nice. I'm just trying to be like respectful towards people and their sensitivity to spoilers because I have quite a high sensitivity. Now, that being said, I wouldn't mind if somebody told me the mages got out of Novigrad. That is true.
Right.
I wouldn't even know what Novigrad was.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like I wouldn't really care. But I've been playing that game and holy crap, I love it. I'm like, I don't know, close to 40 hours in at this point, and I played almost entirely on Steam Deck. It's just been awesome. And I also did download because I had me a little Steam wallet balance, because I finally got that
gift card.
got that gift card, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I downloaded Forza Horizon 5 because it was on sale. It was $38. It wasn't like an enormous. I mean, it was a pretty significant sale.
It's like a 33% off sale, right?
Yeah.
It's like a third off.
And it runs great too. And I'm gonna kind of start sprinkling that one in if I'm out of crowns and I need to go kill a couple.
Or maybe you just want to play
monsters.
a mindless race.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about that game, man. It's like you can turn your brain off and just chill and race.
It plays really good, and it's just so big, and there's so many roads.
yeah.
Like, I haven't done one race, and I've played the game for an hour.
There's plenty of races.
I've just been driving around.
There are plenty of races, trust me. And it's so much fun getting all the different cars, and it's like, oh my gosh, so much fun.
Yeah.
Love that game. It's the only racing game that I really, really enjoy.
You know, are you going to play Forza Motorsport when it comes out?
I don't know. See, I played Forza Motorsport, the last one. I played it some with my brother, and I was just helping him get through some races because he was struggling with a couple, and I just got through him for it, and it wasn't as fun.
Well, it's supposed to be more realistic.
Yeah, it's not as fun. I mean, like the Horizon stuff is where it's at. Wait, a little more arcadey.
Yeah.
It's just a little more light and just fun. It's just, I don't know. I like the vibe. I like the music in the game. Now, the music in 5 is not as good as the music in Horizon 4. The music in Horizon 4 was, every song was a bop. But 5 has some good songs in it too.
I like that I can finally drive on the right side of the road again.
Yep, because now you're
in
not.
Horizon 4, you were in Great Britain.
You were in Great Britain. Now you're in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like taking this Toyota through the deserts. Like, it ain't built for that. I don't have an off-road car yet, but
You'll get
that
one.
ain't stopping me.
You'll get one. Do some races. You'll get them. All right. So now that we've reached the end of our podcast, we're going to, I know it's sad moment, but we're going to do our 3 for Dale Club. If you made it all the way to the end of the podcast, we want to shout you out at the end of our next podcast. And the way we do that is through our 3 for Dale Club. So Daniel, hit him with the details about that.
Well, you know, if you stick it out and listen to us jabber till the end of the video, let us know by dropping a comment that says 3 for Dale. That not only tells us that you love us, but you also love the Intimidator. May he rest in peace. So we have 2 members of the 3 for Dale Club this week, and they are Punchy Punch, who I played Fortnite with recently. You weren't there, but it was fun. And Landon Stallings, longtime MVP of the channel. Y'all rock.
Yeah, thank you guys for keeping the 3 for Dale Club alive. So until next time, guys, I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel.
And this has been Gaming Gig.
Peace out.